Hello, this is wmpyr here to talk about the Rack All-in-One Gym. Um, Years ago, when I moved to Houston, um, I basically wasn't talking to anybody, and I didn't know anyone, and the location was new to me, and I wasn't familiar with anything, so I lived like a monk. I just stayed in my apartment at home by myself, and I worked out like crazy, and basically I got in the best shape of my life at that time. The type of exercise that I was doing before that was I was part of an MMA team, and the workout was unbelievable. So when I was at the apartment, what I was doing was a version of that, but I felt like I made it more condensed. And the exercise that I find very similar to that was on YouTube, youtube.com/free daily exercise. That's the kind of exercise that I was doing that made me the most fit that I had ever been. Um, I was putting in extreme amount of effort and intensity into the exercise, so much that I was absolutely fearful of my exercise. I did it every day, and I dreaded my exercise every day after I was done. You know, the next day I was like, oh man, I have to do this again. How am I going to do this? So I would spend a lot of time just motivating myself, getting ready, almost like if I was pumping myself up for a fight later that night. And, you know, I was just really, really focused. And then I put all my energy into it. And I would just imagine, like, you know, some of the Russian fighters that you see that train like in Siberia with no distractions. I literally was like a monk, and I had no connection or no ties to the outside world. I was like in prison, or, you know, like in some remote base in Siberia or something like that. That's how I imagined it. And I just worked out really, really hard, no distractions, focused a lot. The thing about that is it's extremely difficult, and I think I did it for about 4 months. I wish I could have continued it longer, but I wasn't able to, because it's just so taxing and it's so difficult to do. A lot of people think I'm very, very dedicated and stuff, and I'm telling you, with my level, I wasn't able to keep that up by myself. It was extremely hard. The interesting thing was, when I was doing that kind of thing, that kind of exercise, and when I did go to like a mall or something, or grocery shopping, and I see, you know, people just walking around and stuff, the public, it's just amazing how your mind feels at that time, because you know that nobody there works out that hard every day like you do. So it's just an interesting feeling that it gives you. But anyway, um, so free daily exercise is amazing to me, because it's the same type of workout. Like I said, I was giving 110% at the time, doing similar type of workout. And the amazing thing is it's really minimal equipment, all right? The way she does it is like, I think it's like, a lot of times it's just dumbbells and that's it. It's very, very minimal in equipment and stuff that you need. And I think that's fantastic, but at the same time, like I said, it's extremely hard. And I have to say, you know, this kind of makes me sound like a wuss maybe, but this right here, the all-in-one gym, makes it a lot easier to do that kind of workout. And what do I mean by that kind of workout? Well, with this guy, you could work out in many different ways. You know, if you want to come over here, do some dips, and then go back to watching TV or something like that, and just take your time, and then maybe come back and do some dips, you know, like 20 minutes at a time or something like that, you know, that's fine. You know, you could work out all kinds of different ways. But for me personally, I go from one exercise to the next like it's a race. And that basically condenses my workout time, makes it a lot shorter, but also makes it a lot more intense. And I really like that. For me, the type of functional exercise that I'm looking for is that kind of exercise where it's just constantly pushing the cardio. So I kind of have like that nervousness where I'm going from one exercise to the next. I kind of have to do it fast. I have to go from one to the next rapidly, almost like I don't know, like a hero needs to go rescue somebody, you know, something like that. So it just puts me in that kind of mindset. So it's kind of a good feeling, but at the same time, you're on your toes. You know, you have to go, you know, bam, 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 and hit that stuff. You know, there's no breaks in between, and that's how I like it, and that's how I do it. You know, and it just makes it so much easier because you could go from like, you know, one exercise to the next without taking this apart, or you know, without you know, sitting down and going into a certain machine and changing the settings and stuff like that. You don't have to worry about that. You know. So that's one thing that I really, really like is the racing type exercise, to go from one exercise to the next. The other thing that I like is that it's very varied. It has a lot of different exercises on here that targets a lot of different muscle groups. And for me, the type of functional exercise that I'm looking for is not to sculpt my body. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying that that's not what I do. You know, some different sports athletes train in different ways and stuff like that. And for me personally, being able to target arms and then go to legs and then go to back, you know, just to be able to hit all kinds of different muscle groups within that exercise time is very important to me, because for me, this is about martial arts. This is about fighting. This is about combat. And in that case, I'm not going to be going, okay, in this fight, I'm just going to use my arms. No, I'm going to be using everything. So I want to use everything. And also, not just the variety of exercises, but also the ability to combine muscle groups together. So like if I'm doing one of these like hanging pull-ups and stuff, even though I'm, you know, a lot of it is focusing on the arms right here, I have to keep my core, torso, I have to keep that strong. And then I'm also, because my legs are actually touching the ground, I'm using my legs as well. So by recruiting different muscle groups together, I think that is very, very important. It makes it more dynamic, because for a real life combat situation, it's going to be dynamic. And that's what's important to me. When you combine muscle groups together, so like instead of just isolating a muscle, and you're combining, like you're recruiting from your back and your lats and other areas, and you're doing that, I think when you do that kind of exercise and then people go home and then they go, wow, I'm sore in places that I didn't even know I had muscles, I think that's the response that people get, because they're actually recruiting muscles. You know, there's minor muscles and stuff like that, and like I said, that's what I'm very, very interested in. You know, and the other thing is there's so many different exercises that you could do with this thing. It's like it's up to like your creativity. I've seen so many different ones, and you know, you can't possibly do them all. Maybe you can, but for me, there's a certain number where I get to where it's like, oh my gosh, that's enough. You know, I already did plenty. I don't want to do every single one, you know. And the cool thing about that is I have to select and choose which ones I want to do. And I kind of like don't have it planned out. I have a general idea, but it's not planned out. So that means that as I'm exercising, I have to come up with it right there on the spot. And so it challenges my brain too. So I really, really like that aspect as well. And it makes it more action-packed for me. And the only other exercise that I have done that has felt that way is the Zombie Fighter Django workout from Primal Punch, where it was just a whole bunch of dumbbell exercises, and you could be doing this one, you know, you could be doing this one, you could be doing the spear, you know, you could be doing this kind of stuff or this kind of stuff, you know. I mean, he had so many different ones, and you didn't necessarily have to do all of them. You know, you could do like 8 reps of each one and then decide which ones you want to do. So, you know, your brain has to pick and choose right there on the spot, you know. And I really like that kind of exercise as well. So anyway, definitely when I start doing this stuff, I try to hit the harder exercises first, like the dips and the hanging pull-ups like this. Those are the tough ones, so I like to get through those first, because later on I won't be able to do them. And then also, you see the rack right now is standing. I like to use it in the standing position first, and then I go into the curling type stuff. There's all kinds of different stuff that you could do lifting this thing up, like if it was a curl bar, you know. And then after that, I set it down and I go into the various push-up type stuff. And then there's another setting where you actually use the wheels on this thing, but I haven't even gotten to that. And I'm also on a place with a lot of pretty thick carpet and stuff, so I haven't really tried that. But that's a whole new area for me to explore later on. So anyway, thank you for watching the video, and take care, folks.